So there's a lot of talk of redundancy these days, isn't there? If you are in work now, do you ever think, what would I do if they came and offered me redundancy? Would you take the money? Would you be sensible with it, paying off debts, keeping some by for a rainy day and getting another job somewhere? Would you be wildly extravagant, taking a holiday of a lifetime, buying a new car, a new sofa, or doing something in between? One man from Hucknall is hoping he can turn his hobby into a business after being made redundant, and he's also got funds from Ashfield District Council to help. I caught up with Anthony Hughes. He set up a microbrewery, which is just getting underway into production, and asked him to recall the former life he had and when did he give up that sort of day job.
I'd say that I probably stopped in about December 2010. I then sort of spent a little bit of time working on an interim basis for a couple of other companies, and then decided that actually I really wanted to set up a business for myself. So started that really from October of last year, and it's really taken up until now, the beginning of May, to get everything set up. And
why brewing in particular?
Always been a really passionate follower of real ales. I used to home brew myself as well, and it's part of the economy that's really in growth at the moment. So I sort of figured that was probably a good business opportunity as any.
And the level of investment you'd need in equipment, I guess, is quite a lot. You did have some help from the local authority, Ashfield District Council.
That's correct, yeah. So Ashfield District Council were able to give me a small grant to help fund some of the equipment, and then obviously I'd also got some money from my redundancy in my previous job. So altogether, that with a little bit of help from banks as well, we've got a whole load of very nice shiny equipment waiting for us now.
Which is lovely, and your brewing process will be starting very soon. But you've got to make money out of this. This is going to be your living.
It is.
You've spent all your redundancy money now. You can't live off that.
Absolutely. So we're now in the process of obviously once we've got the beer brewed, there's a large number of customer orders that are waiting for us for deliveries from the middle of May. So we've got an account set up with Wetherspoons. The Castle Rock Brewery are also very kindly taking an order from us in June. And then we've then got a large number of free houses that we'll be delivering to as well. So there's no shortage of customer orders.
And you're going to this in a big way. I mean, you've got a capacity of around 5,000 or 6,000 pints a week you're planning to produce. I was up at Springhead Brewery not so long ago up in Laneham. They've sort of outgrown the microbrewery tag now, consider themselves a bigger player, but they do about 14,000 a week. So, you're not that far behind them, is what I'm saying. As a first start, you've gone into this in a big way.
Absolutely. I think there's two ways that you can really do it. I think if you can approach it from a sort of starting off on a small scale, but then I think you're always you struggle to then expand because you sort of spend all your time brewing, not enough time sort of selling it, and it always becomes very, very difficult to justify an additional expenditure in brewing equipment. Whereas if you start off big, then at the end of the day you've got plenty of capacity and you've got more time to spend marketing the product.
Because it takes just as long to brew 10 pints as 10,000 pints.
Exactly.
If you've got the big enough vessel, I suppose. So what's the brewery name and what are your beers going to be like?
So the brewery name is Lincoln Green Brewing Company. We chose that because obviously it's the colour that's associated with the legend of Robin Hood. And so all of our beers also reflect that particular legend as well. So we have a best bitter called Hood, which is 4.2%, and that's a real classic English ale. We've then got Marion, which is a pale ale. That's 3.8%, and that's very, very light, refreshing, and very, very citrus hoppy. So that's a particular favourite of mine. We've then got Scarlet, which is an amber ale. Not many people doing amber ales at the moment, but that's got lots of malt flavours to it. So sort of, if you think of toffee, and then a little bit of fruit added in on the hop. And then finally we've got Tuck, which is a porter. That's at 4.7%. And again, that's a very dark beer. And that's got sort of almost a black curranty sort of hop flavour to it. Not quite as heavy as Guinness, but a porter all the same.
You have to wait till mid-May before you can sample them, but Anthony Hughes there with his new Lincoln